Yo, as you can see, my baby is so healthy, beautiful, smart, doing so majestically. So you stupid idiots, foolish beings, bad belly, you should withdraw your statement. Oh, period.
So yeah, please, I still have calls coming in and messages coming in if that was true or something. I'm fine, I'm healthy. I really don't know what was happening and I don't know what happened actually. But you can see I'm fine. They were trying to hack the account or something, I really don't know. And the person that actually posted that thing, it's actually
End it.
Hi guys, so when it comes to this case with David UMAHI and this young lady, I have tried very much to sit on the sidelines and just observe to see exactly what the authorities would do with this case. And I don't think our government is very aware how important this case is to Nigerians, because number one, for decades the only people who are being held accountable for situations like this, and even as small as just stealing a bread, have always been the poor, when accountability is supposed to go round. Now, we live in a society where people of power get away with a lot of things, which is very unfair to the average Nigerian, because if you commit any form of crime or are accused of a crime, we're not going to point fingers right now, because the truth is we really don't know the case. The only problem is that the case ain't making sense, and we all see it, and we all sit and wait to see what the government will do about it. Because me personally, I am tired of the elites having the power. We've seen so many times over the years how certain people in government get away with literal murder. Funds are being put aside and nothing is being done. But when it comes to the average Nigerian, all of a sudden it's a problem. Now, before we really get into the details of this story, because it's so weird to me at this point, I want to remind you guys of something. I have always said for a long time, the way you carry yourself, especially when it comes to the outside world, matters a lot. Because when you mix yourself up in certain stories all in the name of clout, or you're known as not a nice person, when situations like this come about, people will jump to believe whatever story is taken. Now, we all know David UMAHI has a very long history of not always doing the right thing. There's been many accusations over the years, either from women stating that he was involved in a not very nice moment with them, or when it comes to funds, because he does work in the Ministry of Works. And you see, all of those things make people really question his character as a person. Now, till someone is proven guilty, he's still innocent till then. But let's look into the story, because it's very weird. Now, one question I have is, if this was Mr. Peter Obi, would they delay the way they have right now? Because naturally, they should have detained him till they have full information. Mind you, this is a story that happened on the 27th of last month, June. Until today, all we keep seeing is Mr. David UMAHI jumping from show to show, trying to twist or justify a story that doesn't make sense. Now, for those of you who don't know what story this is, this young lady over here, she's 26 years old. She was found unalived in his residence. Now, she's a nurse, and the stories just don't add up. Now, certain people, because there were photos that came out online saying that when they found her, she actually had bruises all over and she was bleeding through her mouth. Now, nobody seems to know how to explain what happened. And then she was also naked, which they've also tried to bring up other stories to make that make sense. My question is, he says he wasn't in the residence when that happened, so he doesn't know what happened to her. But all of a sudden, she was with another girl in the house, which she, at this point, is not giving any information to the public, which I find weird. Because naturally, your friend just got unalived, whether it was a health issue or who knows what she was involved with. You're supposed to come and state what happened, but everybody is silent. And now, naturally, after an incident like this, the government, the police are supposed to do an autopsy, perfect autopsy, to see exactly what happened. It could have been a health problem. It could have been anything else. You know, we need to know, the public, because not every day you wake up and find a person unalived in a residence of the Minister of Works. Number one, this information should have been announced to the public way before it was. You can clearly tell that something was trying to get hidden somewhere. And yes, it never looks good if somebody wakes up dead in your house. It doesn't look good. Now, from him claiming that he wasn't at the residence to all of a sudden claiming that she was on the phone with her boyfriend a few minutes before she passed away. How do you know all that information? Now, of course, the typical thing to do, and this is not me throwing blames, because the truth is we don't know. It just doesn't make sense. Then he went with that whole line of, oh, she's like a daughter to me and her family are close. Come on, let's be real about that one. If you look at the family of the girl and you look at David UMAHI, you would tell that there's no connection between them at all. There's no connection within them, but it is fine. Now you're claiming you were like a father figure and you knew a few minutes before she was unalive that she was on the phone with the boyfriend and she begged the boyfriend to stay on the phone, but somehow he left, and then she was naked because she got into the shower, and apparently when she passed away, she was still in the shower or the water was still running. You see how that doesn't make sense? Because if you were in the vicinity, right, and you claim to know all this information, why didn't you rush her to the hospital? Why didn't you report to the police something was off? Are you trying to throw blames on the boyfriend somehow? What is really going on? Why is the girl that was in the house also silent in a situation like this? And my biggest disappointment again goes back to family. I don't know what's going on in your lives, because apparently these days, once your child has been unalive, people just try to bury it and just take whatever they can take out of the situation. Now, her family, instead of you to be desperate enough and trying to get real answers for your child, you are in such a hurry to bury your child, which is very strange to me, because what it shows the public is that either you're being blackmailed or either you have been compensated for the loss of your child, because no right-minded parents will ever shift justice away just because it's a popular person or an elite person and just push it away and say, oh, let's just bury it. That is your child. That is your child you raised for 26 years. So naturally, you should want to know what's going on. But the fact that you are insisting so much on burying your child is a huge red flag for the rest of us. Because who does that? Now there are stories, he also came out to say, oh, he really wants the autopsy to come out. Like, he says one thing, but everyone else who is involved in this case keeps saying the other something else, which is not making sense. Naturally, this is not just an ordinary case, and Nigerians want to know that if he is found guilty, he should face the full wrath of the law. But like I said earlier, when it comes to elites in Nigeria, nothing has ever been done. And I just want the government to know that we are watching you guys and seeing how you move on this case, because there's no reason that he would feel so much confidence to come out and make different speeches that do not even align. By my own observation, they don't align. There's a certain kind of it happened situation. Something is off with the case. Now, I'm not a police officer and I don't know what went wrong, but something ain't right there. Number one, I hear that certain group of people have actually sued them to court because they want to know exactly what is happening with this case. And also now the police are insisting on an autopsy. Now, why I never trust the police, sadly, is because in recent times we have seen that when money exchanges hands, they are ready to bury anything. But on this case, it would be so unfair to this young lady not to get justice, or for her family not to even understand what is going on. So this is me honestly just appealing to the police and to the government to do the needful, because I am so tired of every day. It's always one story or the other. If it's the poor, who either they're being oppressed by people in power with their security or whatnot. I'm tired of seeing people just go unpunished for something that they should be punished for. Now, this is me still not saying he is guilty, but the fact that your stories don't match up, that already is a red flag. And we Nigerians would love to know. We Nigerians we want to see accountability in all forms when it comes to our national budget and everything. This case is not a small case that you just throw under the rug and say, oops, it didn't happen. The fact that it wasn't even announced to the police on time and Sahara newspaper had to come out to speak about it first is fishy, I'm sorry to say. But we're going to keep sitting on the sidelines and watching, because I want to see how this one ends. And for the family of the girl, if you do not ask for accountability to find out what's going on with your daughter, you practically are part of the people who unalived your child. And that's all I'm going to say for this.
So guys, honestly, this David UMAHI issue with late Mary Habila. See, honestly, I dey hear some news say David Umahi say anybody will drag, anybody will put application for hear this thing, they go send a lawyer, make they arrest the person. All those things. See, sir or mister, as far as say the person buy under your roof, as far as say the person buy under your roof, you must answer questions. Do you understand? Except that's what you do one before. Say nobody questions you. You get? There are some things the person go do. The one you go do last, and we go come purge the person. You understand? So that the first video you watch just now, the video of Mary, when was it not 3 days ago before she died, before she died, when they say she don't buy, you understand? When they say she don't buy, last time she come and say she don't buy or she's okay or she na her phone be get issue before. It just be like some of our friends don't know say death they waste that girl. Because after 3 days, when that thing happen, what to take next week buy. You understand? So in life, things happen, and God know what happen for. Things happen for that house, we will not know. So at least if David Umahi, before they say they should go for the autopsy, if he provide the CCTV camera for the compound, for the inside the house, at least we for know. We don't say if you know they inside the room based on many say it was at least for the corridor, some of all those CCTV camera, no evidence, don't even provide. I don't know if now so we want to live for the country, they say something go happen, person will both talk. If you talk, they'll shut up your mouth. It don't work that way. This girl need justice. No matter what it go happen. Mary Habila, you need justice. Because say some people not treatment for this matter. If person like very dark man, and other people treatment for this matter, so for the matter for the get head. You understand? Because say the father, the parents, they don't need issue at all. I don't know what happen. I don't know what they don't what they see. They can't say they need the body. They don't want the autopsy. They don't want anything. If for instance say that family, the family say they want justice for their daughter, or for the daughter of for that family, for their sister also, this matter for get head. I'm not okay. I'm what you just but you hear what this guy talk. See, no matter what it happen, you must know the root of this matter. Enough is enough. If it happened before, see this matter, you don't feel like this. You must know what it happened. If na really buy fine. What it make a buy? Why you can't buy then naked though? Why the bruise on their face? So question, there are some questions. How Mr. Umahi tell us saying that the boyfriend call him, this boyfriend call him again though. At least there's some questions. When that man to go interview, they may sit down with the interviewer. There's some people. What you do is you hear this guy talk. Watch the video.
Number 3, how come that the parents of a girl who died in controversial circumstances are swearing to affidavit saying they do not want the diligent investigation of the death of that girl? Who told the parents of this girl that they have the right to say they don't want investigation? Who told them? That girl is now public property number 1. And the public must establish the root cause of her death. It must be established beyond reasonable doubt. And that establishment must be made public. No matter who is involved. A poor man, if a girl dies in the home of a poor man, you go to jail. A girl died in the home of the minister is the one explaining to Nigerians what has happened. Where did you see the mouth? A minister is the one who is correcting the narrative around the death of that young girl. I saw his video this morning.
The lady in question was like a daughter to me. She had stayed with me for 3 years. She was a staff of the Federal Medical University. She was a nurse and not a physiotherapist. And the family and my family are like one family. And she has her medical records in Turkish hospital, being paid by us. She spoke to her boyfriend at the hour of her death and complaining that she was bleeding from the nose. And the boyfriend said, no, you have to report. You see it has stopped. So the boyfriend said, listen, I will not continue this conversation since you are bleeding. It will increase the bleeding. And she told the boyfriend, don't cut the call. The boyfriend cut the call. And 3 minutes later, the boyfriend called again. She was not responding. And even in the morning, she told the boyfriend she was going to bath because she locked her door, you know. So even in the morning, when they broke the door and discovered her dead, the tap was still running, you know. So, but what baffles me, you know, in this country is that everything becomes an opportunity. Now, there is a guest house where her and the second medical person stayed. And that is very far from where I stayed. And so it means that, God forbid, somebody dies in the Ministry of Works, the minister must be accountable to that. Is that what they say? Is that they say that somebody cannot die? Is that, have they checked the medical records of the lady? Do they know, that this lady was like a daughter to me? And but everything goes into politics. But what I say to people, be careful. Life is spiritual. When you want to use the unfortunate death of a young girl to play politics, if we have hands in the killings, it will follow us in our family. But if we don't have hands and you are jumping into it, behold, this is Deăth. I'm a man of full grace. You don't, tackle me anyhow and go out of it. So be careful when you want to use the death of that young lady. One of my best workers, a nurse, a staff of the federal. Somebody said, oh, they were transported. The second girl is from Benue State, and that girl has worked with me as a governor before she was employed. And so when people talking, so why I'm not talking to the president, that means nothing, but very painful to me that girl passed on. It's very difficult to replace her. And the parents will be begging them, allow for autopsy to happen. They say it's against their culture. But the question is that if she were Muslim, will you be insisting that autopsy will happen? But we insisted to a lawyer that autopsy should happen, and we are begging the parents to allow autopsy to happen. And I say no, it's against their culture. And so we have a statement, and only God will resolve it, because I have directed that the corpse cannot be removed until they have done autopsy. But it's very strange why an unfortunate thing that happened, is being made. Is it that we killed a woman that was giving me injection, or that was administering drug to us, that lived in our guest house, even in my residence in Asokoro? So what sort of rubbish is that? So that people should be careful, because when I kneel down to pray, I say, when you push yourself into this, I say, God, may the death of the girl be better than their own death. That's my prayer for everybody that is using it to play politics. But if we have hands, let it also follow us, because it can be very annoying when people use, people's, unfortunate incidents and are playing politics. Some people are calling me, we are this organization, we want to do protests, we want you to see us. What is it? This is Deăth. I don't fear at all, and I've never lost any. But life is spiritual. We need to be very, very careful. It's very important. So the matter is ongoing. We've reported to IG to transfer the case to Abuja, so that because I'm from a former governor there, so let them transfer it to Abuja and let them take the family to do autopsy. I'm begging the family to meet with IG, so that maybe IG can convince them. But there are medical records in Turkish hospital. The last one was on 5th of April, and it cost me 2.2 million. The records are there. I paid 2.2 million. So that is it. So I don't want to go, because it's like a daughter that died. So I'm mourning, and I laugh at say it's a physiotherapist. They presented the girls as if they were wrong girls. These people were inside the plane with me, and my immediate staff. We flew together. It's not as if they even came there indifferently. We flew together, with them. We're going to Lagos, and this is not the first time. The boyfriend also told us that in Lagos, which was when we went for this coastal route, that she called him and said she was bleeding from the nose. He said, no, report to your boss. He said the boss will say that she should go back to hospital, that she didn't want, and she don't stress me. So he said, look for hospital around there and go. That's the confession of the boyfriend, And so I've asked the police to go to the call log, and then they will see the last discussion, the girl had with the boyfriend at the hour of that, because the moment the boyfriend started calling again, she was not picking the call again. So you can go to the call log of the boy, go to the call log of the girl, and you hear the conversation. It's an unfortunate thing that happens. And like I said again, she's been receiving treatment at Turkish hospital, and the medical records are there. So I don't want to join issues with anybody, but just know that the guest house far from where I was staying, and as the head of that home, I take responsibility in making sure that, the right thing is done. But I suspect no foul play, but because, is it the girl, the colleague from Benue State, that is sleeping on the same bed? Is it the girl that we remotely care? Because her door was still locked. That door was broken before this thing, and the tap was still running, And the police, because she I think she was going to bath. And so when they took her to the mortuary, that's when the police took the picture in the mortuary. They don't trace up in the mortuary, and took the picture, and they send out damaging information. The police, whoever that spoke to Sarah reporter, after the burial, we answered to our family. We are not going to leave the matter now. I've directed my lawyers to get across to two, people on cyber bullying on this matter. So we're going to test the law on that. So
thank you very much.
That's just it.
It is most insulting that the minister is attempting to weaponize the Cyber Crime Act to shut down people or to keep people quiet from commenting on his matter. Mr. Minister, the freedom of speech is a constitutionally guaranteed right. A girl died in your house. There is no Cybercrime Act you can draw to stop the fact that a girl died in your... If anything, you that is threatening people, you should be behind bars as we speak. This is not to say you are the cause of her death or you are involved in her death. That is for the police to establish. I cannot establish it. I'm not law enforcement. But if somebody dies in your house, you first of all must go in first. You must be arrested, investigated, and cleared before you can come out and speak. You must resign your position because you can use your position of influence to influence investigation. These are established protocols worldwide. Why is this our Fuji house of commotion called the Federal Republic of Nigeria acting in the opposite of common sense? Why is it always Nigeria acting in the opposite of common sense, of reason, of wisdom? So you cannot tell us that anybody who speaks on it, you will do cybercrime act. We'll be waiting for you in court.
Breaking news. Mary Habila and Anita Baki are on the payroll of UMAHI University. Mary Habila is not or was never a physiotherapist. See, Sahara Reporters has exclusively gathered their reports. They are on the payroll of UMAHI Federal University of Health Sciences in Uburu, Ebonyi State. Sahara Reporters gathered that Mary Habila was employed as community health extension worker. She has never been a physiotherapist. Then what is my take? Why is UMAHI lying? That is the biggest question. She said she was giving her injection. She was a physiotherapist. She was this, she was that. But thanks to Sahara Reporters who have uncovered this.
Leg 2. If you as a young person today, a girl dies in your house, the first suspect in that matter is you. The police will call you principal suspect. And by being principal suspect, it means first of all, you will be arrested, you will be detained, investigation will be done, and until it is established beyond reasonable doubt that that person might have died of natural causes, only then will you be allowed to go. Murder is not a bailable offense. Murder is not a bailable offense. It means if you commit murder, you will face the full wrath of the law. I am not alleging that anyone has committed murder. I am saying that even on suspicion of murder, you are not to be bailed. So as we speak, this girl dying in the home of a federal minister, that federal minister first of all has to be arrested first. He needs to be arrested. He needs to be detained. His statement needs to be taken. And everything I am saying here, you can read it up in this news article on Sahara Reporters. You can read it up in the cable news. You can read it up in other news platforms. So I am not manufacturing anything from thin air. This girl died on the 27th of last month. The minister was at home when this girl died, according to reports. On what authority does the minister order that the body of a girl who died in questionable circumstances be taken out? On what premise? Is the minister the police? Do you know that even your own child that you gave birth to, if you come and meet your child dead, the first thing you do, you don't touch that person. You go and call the police, because that somebody is dead is no longer your business. It's now police work. And the police must come there. The police are the ones who have the right to take that body to the morgue, having done preliminary investigation. Otherwise, you can be charged with tampering with evidence. Can we conclude now that Minister Deăth might have tampered with evidence?